Hello, everyone, and welcome to 100% Chelsea. Today, we're doing a quick stream just to talk about our initial thoughts when it comes to the signing of Conte. So, firstly, it was announced earlier today. I'm just going to say quickly, for a lot of you that are confused, he was not announced as the new Chelsea manager. He was announced as a Chelsea head coach. There is a difference there. What this means is that him being head coach means that he doesn't actually have as much of a say on transfers as he would if he was a manager. So this obviously means that if he isn't getting a say in transfers, then there's only one man that is, and that is, as we know, Michael Emenalo. I couldn't say his name just then. So yeah, Conte is the new Chelsea head coach. He is not the manager. He doesn't have much of a say in transfers. Obviously, when it comes to the interaction of players into bringing them into the club, he will have he will be able to have an effect on that. So all these talks of Vidal, for example, which is obviously far-fetched, but apparently he has interactions with a player that could bring him to Chelsea. That is still there. However, Emenalo still has that final say and is a man that can sign players. However, Conte is not. So, Oren, I'm going to start with you. What are your initial thoughts on the announcement?
Well, from CV, it looks like it's a good appointment. I think he's won three Italian league titles in a row, and then during his time at Italy, I think he's only lost two games, and they were friendlies. So he does have a good record as a manager, but there has been some ups and downs in his career, like when he got the ban for match fixing.
Yeah, definitely. So, firstly, as well as having Oren here, as we do for pretty much everything, he seems to be the person I can depend on. We also have Harry. For anyone that might have watched Talk Chelsea YT about a year ago, it was an old Chelsea channel where I was obviously on it. We had Harry, we had a few other people where he just spoke about Chelsea stuff. This guy was the main man. Haven't really spoken to him much since, so I'm so excited to have him back on. He was the guy that got me into YouTube. Harry, how are you doing?
I'm alright. And yeah, you've done good since I've departed, haven't you? You've started your little channels as well, and you've done good. I'm proud of my little my offspring. But yeah,
Going well.
regarding
So
Conte,
what are your initial thoughts on Conte? Yeah.
yeah, I think it's a good signing. Like, obviously, him not being the manager, I don't think will make much of a difference. Like, hopefully it doesn't. There's also a question, well, whether Elimano, or whatever the hell his name is, actually stays at Chelsea, because obviously a lot of fans have been calling for his head recently, especially since January, and just not bringing anyone in. Well, no one amazing, but yeah, it's a good signing. He's a decent manager. Best case scenario, I'd prefer to keep Gus in, but obviously he's retiring after the end of the season. So yeah, he's obviously got a few honours to his name, obviously doing the unbeaten thing with Juve in 11-12 season, I think it was, maybe later. I think it was 11-12. But yeah, that's obviously a good feat too for him to like meet. In terms of how he does in Europe, it's not looking so good, especially in Juve. But hopefully at Chelsea he can do much better. Obviously I think we'll probably have a better squad than Juve had at that point. I'm not sure whether to say Juve or Juve. I'm just going to say both. But yeah, it's a decent signing. Obviously, he has a good philosophy, and he's very strict as well, which I think we need sometimes, especially this situation with a load of players, like, not naming names, but I'm going to name names, Hazard and people like that. Maybe Costa as well. All the bust-ups maybe going on in January with Mourinho, but yeah, it's a good guy to get in.
Yeah, so obviously we'll talk about his mentality and philosophy, as you said, later on in this stream. But firstly, one big talking point that I personally have, and one of my main concerns, is obviously when you look at what has happened with Aston Villa this season, the main problem was that they got rid of Tim Sherwood, who was someone that had Premier League experience, and brought in Remy Garde, I think it is, a manager who has no Premier League experience whatsoever. Antonio Conte is another manager who has no Premier League experience. Even worse than that, actually, he has never managed or played football outside of Italy, which for me could be a serious problem, because obviously it's no kept secret that the Italian league and the English league are two very, very contrasting leagues. Oren, I'm going to start with you because you look like you're itching to say something. Do you think this is a concern? Because obviously he's not really going to understand English football. Not only is he not managed in the league, but he's never played in it. Do you think this is concerning to you?
Well, not really, because if you take, for example, our former manager Mourinho, he didn't know much about the English game when he first came. He hadn't really played football, and now look at him. But with the Conte situation, as in managing a big team like Juve, I think going from one big team, and he's also been manager of Italy recently. I think it doesn't matter. The mentality stays the same, like the big club mentality, and you have to keep winning. I think that winner's mentality will help Chelsea progress in the season, and hopefully challenge for the title and get back into the Champions League. But on the player, on like signing players in general, there's been loads of players linked, like Nainggolan, Higuain, and like you were saying earlier on, Vidal. Without Champions League, I don't think we'll be able to attract these quality players in. Going back to the question in hand, I don't think not playing outside Italy or managing outside Italy does make that much of a difference. Because no, it's just as long as you have a winning mentality and you're a good manager, you can manage anywhere.
So what do you make of his philosophy and ethic towards the game then?
To be honest, there hasn't. Club-wise, I thought that was pretty good. I like three at the back. I'm in favour of the wing backs getting players forward and creating loads of different attacking options. But I don't know if three at the back could work with Chelsea. It depends who you play. Because if you're playing Zuma, JT, and Cahill, for example, I just don't think that'll work. I think you need two young, quick centre backs like Zuma, and then you'll need that old Starwalt in the back as well, like JT.
Yeah, so Harry, obviously it's no kept secret that Chelsea aren't the best at keeping hold of managers. Conte has been signed on a 3-year deal. Do you think that he's going to outstand that 3-year contract? Do you think he'll be gone within a year? How do you think he will settle with English football and Chelsea as a club? Do you think he'll stay for a little while? Do you think he could be a good long-term manager, or will he have one of them managers that stays for a season or two and then we get someone else in?
All right, so it depends. Okay, so if we're saying what I think, I'm going to start with what I hope. I hope we can keep him for a while. I hope we can let him mold his personal thing at the club. So adapt to the club and let him actually unleash what he needs to do to make the club progress and be successful in the future. So yeah, I hope he can stay for a while, and I hope he can, as I said, make it so it is his Chelsea. So sign the players he might want. Obviously, he can't do that being the first team coach or whatever, but he's not the manager, but the first team coach. So yeah, but what I think will happen is I can't actually say. I actually can't say. Like when Jose came back, I thought, okay, look, we're gonna keep him for a while. We're gonna have Jose for a while. We're gonna be winning loads. We're gonna be unbeaten. Last season, I said we're gonna win the Champions League this season. Now, obviously, that has not happened.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
We all thought the same when Jose came back. We were all sort of adamant that he was going to stay for a long time. Unfortunately, that was not the case.
Yep.
I'm still a little bit sour over the fact that he did get sacked, but it happens. We can't change anything about it now. It's been proven to have been the right decision, unfortunately. Oren, obviously, Harry was saying about how Conte is going to need to adapt to English football. Would you like to see him bring an Italian philosophy with him? Do you think that could work well in the Premier League, or do you think he has a lot of adapting to do in order to grind out results in what is unarguably a much tougher league?
I think it's a bit of both. As in, obviously, if he brings that kind of Italian style to Chelsea, it's quite different to the fast pace of the Premier League. But he will also need to play the Premier League way. So I think a bit of both will help the squad and help Chelsea compete, because with the likes of other teams playing, like Arsenal, they play the quick Premier League game. It'll be a different style, and I think it'll be going back to say maybe under Mourinho. It's very like Italian style is very Mourinho-like play, and I think that'll help the squad grind out results like we did last season and get the results we need to progress from where we are this year.
Yeah, so I'm going to quickly fire another question towards your direction. Obviously, with the fact that this is going to be a completely different style of play, we're more likely not going to play that typical 4-2-3-1 formation that we have seen for endless years now. What formation would you like to see at the club, and also what players would you like to see him bring in that are maybe linked, maybe are realistic transfers that you think could definitely help take Chelsea to that level that we should be at?
On the transfer fund, I really can't see any realistic players coming to the club that we've been linked with without Champions League football. As in, I know Champions League isn't everything, but it is it is everything. I know it's just players want to play Champions League football, and that's really the only way you're going to get a player moving from another Champions League club to another Champions League club. And they're not gonna move from say Rajan England. If he's playing Champions League for Roma next year, he's not going to move to Chelsea, who maybe will playing Europa League football or playing no European football at all. And with the style of play, I think Conte, when he was at Juventus, played a 3-5-2-1 or a 3-5-1-2. And depending on the type of players we bring in, I think that could be a good and a bad formation. As in, with the 3-5-2, I think it could work with some of the players we have, as in you could even use some of the players on loan coming in that formation. Like, if I was going to have the two wing backs, I'd have probably Aspilicueta at right and the Babaraman at left.
I wouldn't. I'd have Nathan Ake on the left.
I don't know. I might play Ake in centre back with Zuma and Terry.
Yeah, I also feel like someone like Kennedy, who has left back experience as well as left wing experience, could be perfect.
That's good. That is a good shout as well.
Because that's sort of his ideal position. We see him sort of rotate from that left back to left midfield spot quite a bit, so that could work well for him. I'm reading a lot of the comments now. A lot of people disagree with you, and I've got to be honest, without throwing you under the bus, I do a little bit. As much as I hate to say it, what you're saying about European football, it is correct. I don't deny that. But do you not think that there is a big influence on the money front? So we see money talks, as most people say. That could be the biggest influence. We've seen it happen in China with players like Teixeira, who are in their prime and had pretty much all the top teams in Europe after them. Do you not think that with the name and the brand of the club, we are still a top European side? We are one of the top sides in England, as well as the money that we can offer, along with what is known as the luxury of living in England. That can be quite a bonus to a lot of foreign players, as I spoke about on a stream. Do you not think any of these influences can sort of help some of the top players come to Chelsea, or do you think it literally all does depend on European football?
Well, it's a bit of both. As in, I agree on the money front with this new money deal coming in and the money we already have. We could attract some players, but a lot of players out there would rather be playing Champions League football. But the likes of Higuain, he turned down loads of money at Real. I'm not sure if he actually turned down, but he turned down one of the biggest clubs in the world, Real Madrid, to go play for Napoli to get some game time. So player like Higuain, we'd be linked with him. I don't think he would come. Maybe in England, because playing for Roma, they're not one of the best sides in Italy, and then come to Chelsea, he would be playing for one of the best sides in England. Vidal won't come. As in, Bayern Munich are too good, and I think they're on a different level to Chelsea at the moment.
I completely agree that Vidal is ridiculously unrealistic. Harry, is there any players that you see as realistic transfers that you'd like to see come to Chelsea?
I can't. I'm not going to say there's any realistic ones because I don't know what the effect of not having Champions League football will have. I know when Jose was here, I hate to keep bringing Mourinho up, but it's going to have to happen because he is a massive manager at the club. But there was certain players that only came because Jose was here. I think Pedro was the most recent one who only just came because Mourinho was here. Whether Conte has the same effect as Mourinho, I don't think he will. But he is still quite a big name, especially in Italian football. So I think if we focus on trying to get players from Italy, so I'm talking, I hate to say it, and this is someone I really do want, but Pogba, I'm not sure. I don't think he will come. I know everybody jumps on the Pogba bandwagon. I know everybody wants him, but it's just a name that came to mind. Obviously, there's Higuain as well. Just as the main point is Italian players, or not Italian, but players who play in Italy. They all know what Conte's like. They all know what sort of football he plays, and hopefully that can try and attract some of them. I'm not saying Pogba in particular. I'm just saying in them leagues. But I think we do need to improve if we are playing this 3-5-2 or the 5-3-2 football. I think we do need to improve on our. Well, we do need to bring a new centre back. I don't know who, because obviously I do want to keep Terry. That's a big thing we need to keep. So that's not that. I'm going to count that as like a acquisition for the club, because we do need to make sure we keep Terry because of his leadership qualities and all stuff like that, which we can't like replace with just a player purchase. But we also need to bring in some sort of another wing back, because like Aspilicueta's good, but I don't think he's had much wing back experience. I think he's mainly just played just left back or right back. Obviously, Ivanovic is just too slow for that. Straight up, like that's some of the problems that we've had this and last season. His pace just hasn't helped him in any way. So I think we do need. And then obviously there's Barbarama as well, but I don't think he's good enough at the moment, to be perfectly honest. So I think we do need to bring in someone like that. Obviously there's people like Ake as well. I think we need to still experiment with him, whether he's more of a centre back or more of a wing back as well. So I can't really say many names that I want to bring in, but there's obviously a few names that I've mentioned that I want to bring in. But yeah, that's what I'd say on that.
Yeah, that's understandable. I agree. I mean, I personally think that this whole wing back idea, I'm quite hesitant about it. Obviously, we saw Louis van Gaal come into United a few seasons back with this whole wing back idea, putting Ashley Young there, and to me it just didn't work. Obviously they didn't have the best season. Yes, they did get European football in their first season, but they should have gone on to achieve much more. So I'm hesitant about it. I'm not saying it won't work. We're yet to see if we have the players for it to work. I don't know. I don't know who will sign, but obviously, lastly, speaking of signings, Oren, do you think the whole Eminalo thing, I hate to sort of say his name again, he seems to pop up out of nowhere. Everything at the club has to have some sort of negative effect, and his name pops up on everything due to it. Do you think that is going to be quite a big problem at the club when it comes to transfers? Because obviously, with someone like Conte coming in from Italy, he's going to want a lot changing. He's going to want a lot of change with that team to get into the team he wants, the style of play that he wants. We're probably going to see. Well, he would have probably liked to have a lot of players go, a lot of players come in. Do you think that someone like Eminalo, who isn't really known for breaking the bank with transfers that he allows, obviously we've seen like Hector and Didier Lobogi instead of buying people like Stones last season, do you think that he could be a big sort of barrier in the way of us making sure that we get necessary signings ready for next season?
I think he could be, but Antonio Conte taking on this job, he wouldn't have left the Italian national job without having some assurance that he gets some players in that he wanted. But I do think he will block. He could block some, like not block them, but stop Chelsea signing players because we want to splash the cash. Because it seems like in the past couple of years, it's becoming more, instead of splashing the cash like Manchester City and Man United, we're only spending if we sell players. And
yeah, I agree, but I think that this summer, especially because we've taken such a step backwards in the league, we have to take a few steps backwards with our transfer policy and go back to sort of just spending this season just to get players in that we need so that we can get back towards the top of that league.
I agree. I think we do need to. I've been saying it all. I think we do need to have a massive clear up this summer, and I think we need to spend a lot of money this summer because everything's falling apart this year. I don't know why, I don't know how, but I just think the squad needs a tougher revamp this year, and that will we will have to spend a lot of money for that to happen.
Yeah, I completely agree. Is there anything else you guys would like to add about Conte before we sort of wrap things up?
I could just add, it would be interesting to find out why negotiations took so long and why it took so long for them to announce it. Maybe there is something to do with transfers in them. Maybe I'm just thinking what you guys think about that.
Possibly think of is obviously up until the Stoke game, which was a couple of weeks ago, talks are starting to go around that actually realistically European football was potentially achievable after we did get that many wins in a row. I think we're still unbeaten in the league under Goose. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
I think we are, aren't we? Yep. Yeah. So obviously we were getting higher and higher up that league. I think he took us from about 16th to wherever we are now, 8th, 9th. Not 100% sure. But yeah, 5th place was looking like it could happen up until we drew against Stoke, and then that was just like, okay, it's gone. And I think one of the main things that they wanted to avoid was what has that obviously happened to City. City announced the whole Pep Guardiola announcement way too early on in the season, and that has been, in my opinion, that has been the reason why City are doing so appalling in the league, why they're so inconsistent. That's one of the most stupid things I've definitely seen in English football. To announce that you're sacking your current manager halfway through the season and replacing him at the end of the season is just ludicrous to me. So I think after seeing what had happened at City, they may have been cautious of that. That's all I say, but I do completely agree that there might have been something about this whole transfer thing. And I've got to admit, I don't know about you guys, but I'm really surprised to see that he's only been announced as head coach and not the manager. I am really surprised.
Yeah, maybe that's something to do with Mourinho again. Maybe I know the first time he went out, I think that was something to do with transfers and not being able to sign the people he wanted. Maybe it's obviously there may have been a bust up behind the scenes, but there could have also been something like that as well. Because I know Jose definitely, I'm pretty certain he wanted Stones, and he definitely did want the players as fans wanted as well.
Yeah.
So maybe that might have been another contributing factor to his sacking.
Yeah, there's a lot of unanswered questions at the club, and it has been a painful season. And to me, there is obviously only the one man we can blame, but I don't want to keep on going on about it. You guys are probably sick and tired of hearing it. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to say about Conte. I don't know if you guys have anything else you'd like to add.
No, I just wish him good luck.
Good. Yeah, I hope it does well. Leads to glory.
Hopefully we'll see the results, and hopefully he doesn't go within 6 months. But anyway, this has been 100% Chelsea. Oren, would you like to shout out your YouTube and Twitter? And firstly, congratulations on 100 subs yesterday.
Thank you. I'm pretty proud of that myself. Yeah, my YouTube is Ginger TV, and you can follow me on Twitter at Tully_.
Yeah, both links to that will be in the description, so definitely check it out. Harry, on to you, mate.
Don't have a Twitter, thankfully, but you can check out CSC TV. It's my friend's channel. I sometimes go on it, very rarely, but that's CFC-TV. So yeah. That
will also be in the description, and I know some of you guys get a little bit pissed off that we do this at the end of the episode, but it just makes it worthwhile. Lastly, my channel will be in the description. Keep trying to get 600 subs. Video should be coming out this week. I've just been really struggling with time recently, but hopefully there will more than definitely be something out, and I know for sure there is something special coming out soon. So definitely get yourself over to that. We're 20 subs away from 600. If you could get us closer to that, that would be amazing. As well as my channel, there is also my Twitter and the channel's Twitter below. Feel free to check that out if you want to. So that's us three. All social media links to 100% Chelsea will also be in the description. That's your Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Check them all out. Follow all of the links. Please like, comment and subscribe. This has been 100% Chelsea. Goodbye.